Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Meridian and stared at the screen. Something big floated in space ahead of them. Very big. The ship was unlike anything he had seen before. It was dark and silent, drifting near a dying star. "Captain, we are getting no response to our signals," said Lieutenant Emma Collins from the communication station. Her fingers moved across the controls, trying again and again to reach the mysterious vessel. Jake ran a hand through his dark hair. The Meridian was an exploration ship, not a warship. They had 30 crew members, all scientists and explorers. They were far from home, mapping new sectors of space. Finding an alien ship this far out was not in their plans. "Sir, I think we should leave," said Ben Carter, the tactical officer. He was young but smart, always thinking about safety first. This could be dangerous. Jake understood his concern, but he also knew that fear alone was not a good reason to turn away. "That ship is damaged," he said, pointing at the screen. "Someone might need help. We cannot just leave." Dr. Lisa Hayes looked up from her medical station. She was the ship's doctor, a woman who always saw the best in people. "The captain is right. If someone is hurt over there, we have a duty to help." Jake made his decision. "Ben, Kyle, Lisa, you are coming with me. Emma, you have the bridge. If anything goes wrong, get the Meridian out of here. Do not wait for us." Kyle Brooks, the ship's engineer, grabbed his tools. He was quiet but reliable, the kind of person who could fix anything. The four of them suited up and took a small shuttle across to the alien vessel. As they got closer, Jake could see the ship's true size. It was massive, easily 10 times bigger than the Meridian. The hull was made of something that looked like black metal, but it shimmered with strange colors when their lights hit it. "There is an opening on the side," Kyle said, guiding their shuttle toward it. "Looks like a docking port. I can connect us there." The shuttle locked onto the alien ship with a soft thud. Jake checked his suit one more time, then opened the hatch. They stepped into darkness. Their helmet lights cut through the shadows, showing walls that seemed to glow faintly from within. "This is beautiful," Lisa whispered. She was right. The corridor before them looked like it was carved from crystal. Strange symbols covered the walls, glowing with soft blue light. "Stay close," Jake ordered. They moved forward carefully, following the main corridor. The ship was silent except for their breathing and the soft hum of their equipment. After several minutes, they reached a large chamber. Jake stopped and stared. The room was like a palace. Crystal pillars reached up to a high ceiling. In the center stood what looked like a throne, and around it were machines that pulsed with faint light. "Captain, over here," Ben called out. He had found something behind the throne. Jake hurried over and felt his breath catch. A chamber made of clear material held a figure inside. She was tall, taller than any human. Her skin was pale with a slight blue tint, and she wore armor that seemed to be made from the same crystal as the ship. Her face was elegant, with high cheekbones and closed eyes. Long silver hair floated around her head as if she was underwater. "She is alive," Lisa said, checking the readings on her scanner. "Barely. Her life signs are very weak." A sound made them all turn. In the shadows, something moved. Jake raised his hand, signaling the others to be ready. A figure stumbled forward into their light. It was another alien, similar to the woman in the chamber, but wearing different armor. This one was hurt badly. Green blood covered his chest and he could barely stand. "Help her," the alien said in broken English. Jake was shocked. How did this being know their language? "Please, save Queen." Lisa moved forward slowly, showing her medical equipment. "I want to help. Can you tell me what happened?" The alien guard coughed and more green blood came from his mouth. "Poison. They poisoned Queen Zarathiel. Our doctors could not stop it. Ship damaged. We ran. But I am dying. She is dying." He looked at Jake with eyes that held both hope and desperation. "You save her, please. Why would we?" Ben asked. "We do not even know who you are. You could be enemies." The guard's legs gave out and he fell to his knees. "Velkari Empire, we have done wrong things. Conquered many worlds. Queen wanted peace. That is why they betrayed her. She tried to stop the war. They wanted war to continue. Please, she is good. Save her." Jake knelt beside the dying guard. He had heard of the Velkari Empire. Everyone had. They were warriors, feared across many sectors. But looking at this guard, Jake saw only a person trying to protect someone he cared about. "I promise," Jake said. "We will try to save her." The guard smiled, then closed his eyes for the last time. His body went still. Lisa checked him and shook her head. "He is gone." Jake stood and looked at the Queen in her chamber. Kyle, can we move that chamber to our shuttle? Kyle studied the connections. Yes, but it will be tight. And Captain, are you sure about this? The crew might not like us bringing an alien queen aboard. The crew will understand, Jake said. He hoped he was right. We are explorers. We believe every life has value. That includes her. It took them an hour to disconnect the chamber and move it to their shuttle. The technology was strange, but Kyle was clever. He figured out how to keep it powered using their own systems. As they flew back to the Meridian, Jake watched the Queen's face through the clear walls of her chamber. She looked peaceful, but Lisa's scanner showed the poison spreading through her body. They did not have much time. Emma, prepare the medical bay, Jake said into his radio. We are bringing back a patient. And Emma, she is Valkyrie. There was a long silence. Then Emma's voice came back uncertain. Understood, Captain. Medical bay is ready. When they docked with the Meridian, half the crew was waiting. Some looked curious. Others looked worried or even scared. Jake understood their feelings. The Valkyrie had a reputation. They were warriors who had conquered hundreds of worlds. But Jake also knew something else. Every great change started with one choice. One moment where someone decided to do what was right instead of what was easy. This was that moment. Take her to medical, he ordered. Lisa, do everything you can. The rest of you, back to your stations. We have work to do. As the chamber was wheeled away, Jake caught sight of the Queen's face one more time. Even unconscious, even dying, she looked strong. Like someone who had carried the weight of an empire. He wondered what kind of person she was. What kind of leader would seek peace when her whole culture demanded war? He would find out soon enough. For better or worse, the fate of Queen Zarathiel was now tied to the fate of his ship and crew. Jake just hoped he had made the right choice. Only time would tell. Dr. Lisa Hayes had not slept in 2 days. She stood in the medical bay, staring at the screens that showed Queen Zarathiel's condition. The numbers kept getting worse. The poison in the Queen's blood was like nothing Lisa had ever seen before. It is adapting, she told Jake, who had just walked in. Every time I try a new treatment, the poison changes. It learns to resist whatever I give her. I have never seen anything like this. Jake looked at the Queen lying on the medical bed. They had removed her from the crystal chamber because Lisa needed better access to treat her. Zarathiel looked so peaceful, but her body was fighting a war it was losing. What about her own medical records? Jake asked. Kyle is working on their ship's computers. Maybe we can find information about Valkyrie medicine. Lisa shook her head. I already checked. Their doctors tried everything they knew. This poison was made specifically to kill her. It was designed to be unstoppable. Jake walked closer to the bed. There has to be something. We did not bring her here just to watch her die. Wait, Lisa said suddenly. She was looking at her computer screen with wide eyes. I just ran a comparison between human and Valkyrie blood. Captain, our biology is similar. Very similar. More than any other species we have encountered. What does that mean? Jake asked. Lisa's fingers flew across her keyboard. The poison adapts to Valkyrie defenses. But human blood has different antibodies, different immune responses. What if we introduce human blood into her system? The poison would not know how to adapt to it. Our antibodies might attack the poison while leaving her cells alone. That sounds dangerous, Jake said. What if our blood harms her? I ran simulations. Human blood should be compatible. But Captain, this will take time. And a lot of blood. We would need regular transfusions over several days. Jake did not hesitate. Use my blood. I will be the donor. Captain, this could be dangerous for you too. We do not know all the effects. I know, Jake said. But I made a promise to her guard. Set it up. An hour later, Jake sat in a chair next to the Queen's bed. Lisa had connected them with tubes and machines. His blood flowed out of his arm, through a filter and into Zarathiel's body. How long will each session take? Jake asked. 2 hours, 3 times a day, Lisa said. You will be tired? Very tired, Jake nodded. He looked at the Queen's face. Up close, he could see details he had missed before. Small marks on her skin that might have been old scars. Her features were sharp but beautiful in a way that was completely alien and yet somehow familiar. What do you think she is like? Lisa asked, checking the machines. When she is awake, I mean. I do not know, Jake said. Her guard said she wanted peace. That is something, at least. The first few days were hard. Jake spent 6 hours each day connected to the Queen. His body grew tired from giving so much blood, but he refused to stop. Lisa gave him supplements and made sure he rested between sessions. Then something strange started to happen. During the transfusions, Jake began to feel odd. It was like dreaming while awake. He saw flashes of images that were not his memories. A world with red skies, crystal cities reaching toward two suns, battles in space, faces he did not recognize. "Lisa, I think I am seeing things," he said during the fourth day. She came over immediately. "What kind of things?" Jake described the visions. Lisa checked her equipment carefully. "This is interesting. I found references in the Velkari data about something called genetic memory. When they touch someone, they can sense emotions and even see memories. With your blood mixing with hers, maybe you are experiencing her memories." "Can she see mine?" Jake asked. "Maybe. If this connection works both ways, she might be experiencing your life even while unconscious." Jake thought about that. What would she see? His childhood in California near the ocean. His parents teaching him to value kindness over strength. His years in the Space Academy. The losses he had experienced. The friends who had died. The choices he had made to always try peace before war. On the seventh day, the Queen's eyes opened. Jake was alone in the medical bay during his afternoon session. He saw her eyelids move, then slowly lift. Her eyes were a deep purple color, unlike anything human. They looked at him with confusion at first, then focus. "Where am I?" she asked. Her voice was soft but clear. She spoke perfect English, which surprised him. "You are safe," Jake said. "You are on a human ship called the Meridian. I am Captain Jake Morrison." Zarathiel looked at the tubes connecting them. "You are giving me your blood." Yes. It was the only way to fight the poison. She was quiet for a long moment, studying his face. "I know you," she finally said. "I have seen your memories. The ocean, the stars, your belief that all life has value." Her expression changed, showing something Jake could not quite read. "Why would you save me? Do you not know what my people have done?" "I know," Jake said. "But I also know what your guard told me before he died. That you wanted peace, that they betrayed you for it." Tears formed in her purple eyes. "Commander Velish. He stayed with me until the end. He was brave," Jake said. "He loved you very much. Anyone could see that." Zarathiel closed her eyes again, but this time not from weakness. "In my culture, we do not speak of love. We speak of duty, of strength, of conquest. But Valish was the closest thing I had to a friend." She opened her eyes and looked at Jake again. "And now you risk your life for mine." "I have lived for 300 years, Captain Morrison. I have seen countless species. But I have never seen anything like humans." "What do you mean?" Jake asked. "You choose compassion," she said, "even when it is dangerous. Even when it costs you. My people choose strength. We believe might makes right. But through your memories, I have seen a different way, a way where kindness is not weakness." Jake felt the tiredness in his body, but he smiled. "My mother used to say that anyone can be strong. It takes no special skill to destroy, but to build, to heal, to bring people together, that is true strength." Zarathiel reached out slowly and touched Jake's hand. The moment their skin connected, he felt a rush of emotion. Not his own, hers. Loneliness, so much loneliness. Centuries of ruling alone, making impossible choices. Being the symbol everyone needed but no one truly knew. "I am tired, Jake Morrison," she whispered. "I am tired of war. Tired of being what my people need me to be. Through your memories, I saw what peace looks like. I saw what it means to truly care about others." "Then maybe," Jake said gently, "you can help build that peace. When you are well." She squeezed his hand. "Perhaps. But first I must learn more about your people. Will you teach me?" "I will," Jake promised. Over the next few days they talked during each transfusion. Jake told her about Earth, about its history of wars and peace, about human art and music and philosophy. Zarathiel listened to everything, asking questions that showed how deeply she thought about it all. She also told him about her world, about the beauty of the crystal cities, about Velkari culture and traditions. She explained how her people had once been explorers like humans, but fear and pride had turned them into conquerors. "I wanted to change that," she said. "That is why they poisoned me. Too many powerful people benefit from war. Peace threatened their power. Then we will prove them wrong," Jake said. Together. On the 10th day, Lisa declared the treatment successful. The poison was gone. Zarathiel would live, but something else had happened during those days of sharing blood and memories. A bond had formed between the Queen and the Captain. a connection that went beyond simple gratitude. As Lisa disconnected the tubes for the last time, Zarathiel kept her hand in Jake's. "You saved my life, Captain Morrison. In my culture, that creates a debt that can never be repaid." "You do not owe me anything," Jake said. "I did what anyone should do." Zarathiel smiled. It was the first time Jake had seen her smile. It changed her whole face, making her look less like a warrior queen and more like a person. "That is exactly why you are special, Jake Morrison. You do not even see how rare you are." But their peaceful moment would not last. Unknown to them, the Velkari fleet had been searching, and they were getting close. The alarms woke everyone. Jake ran onto the bridge, still pulling on his uniform jacket. Emma was already at her station, her face pale as she looked at the screens. "Captain, we have 6 ships approaching fast. They are Velkari warships." Her voice shook slightly. The Meridian was not built for combat. They were scientists and explorers, not soldiers. Jake looked at the display. 6 massive ships, each one bristling with weapons. His small exploration vessel was like a mouse facing 6 lions. "Are they hailing us?" "Yes, sir." Putting it through now. The screen changed to show a Velkari officer. He was larger than Zarathiel, with scars across his face and armor that looked like it had seen countless battles. His eyes were cold and hard. "Human vessel, I am General Krathzek of the Velkari Imperial Fleet. You have something that belongs to us. Return Queen Zarathiel immediately and we will let you live." Jake stood straight, trying not to show his fear. "General, Queen Zarathiel is a guest on this ship. She is recovering from an assassination attempt. We will not simply hand her over to people who might have been involved in that attempt." Krathzek's face darkened with anger. "You dare accuse me? The Queen is property of the Velkari Empire. You have no right to keep her. This is your last warning, human." Before Jake could respond, another voice came from behind him.
"General Krathzek."
"How interesting to see you leading this fleet." Jake turned. Zarathiel had entered the bridge. She was still weak, but she stood tall in her crystal armor. Lisa tried to support her, but the Queen waved her away gently. "Your Majesty," Krathzek said, but his voice held no respect. "You have been recovered. Return to the fleet immediately. These humans have no right to hold you." "They do not hold me," Zarathiel said calmly. "They saved me. They healed me when our own doctors could not." "Tell me, General, where were you when I was dying? Why did my entire fleet abandon me?" "We searched for you, Majesty. The traitors who poisoned you damaged your ship's tracking systems." "How convenient," Zarathiel said. Jake heard the ice in her voice. "And were you also searching when they put poison in my food?" "When my own council voted to have me killed." Krathzek's expression did not change. "I know nothing of such things. Come back to the fleet and we will investigate these claims. So you can finish what you started?" Zarathiel stepped closer to the screen. "I am not foolish, Krathzek. I know you led the council's vote. You want war to continue because war gives you power. Peace threatens everything you have built." The general's mask slipped for just a moment, showing hatred. "You are weak, Zarathiel. You wanted to make peace with our enemies. You would have destroyed everything our ancestors built. The Empire needs strength, not weakness." "And yet," Zarathiel said, "humans saved me when our own people could not." "Who is truly strong, General? Those who can only destroy, or those who can heal?" Krathzek laughed, a harsh sound. "Pretty words, but they change nothing. You have 1 hour to surrender yourself, or we will destroy that human ship and take you by force." The screen went dark. Jake immediately turned to his crew. "Options?" Ben spoke first. "We cannot fight 6 warships. Our weapons are for defense only. One of those ships could destroy us easily. 6? We would last maybe 5 minutes. What about running?" Emma asked. Kyle shook his head. "They are faster than us. They would catch us before we could jump to light speed." "Then we surrender the Queen," said someone from the back. "It is not worth dying for." Jake felt angry at those words, but he understood the fear. "No, we do not hand people over to those who want to kill them. That is not who we are." "Then what do we do, Captain?" Ben asked. "I am with you, but we need a plan." Jake thought hard. They needed more time. Or a miracle. He looked at Zarathiel. "Is there any Velkari law that might help us? Anything that could buy us time?" Zarathiel's eyes widened slightly. "There is one thing, an ancient law rarely used, the right of sanctuary." "What is that?" Jake asked. "In the old days before the Empire, when a Velkari saved the life of royalty, they could claim a sacred bond. The warrior who saved the royal could offer sanctuary, and no other Velkari could interfere. It was the highest honor. But that law is ancient, she continued. I do not know if Krathsek would respect it. And it only works if I publicly declare it. Would it stop him from attacking? Jake asked. Zarathiel nodded slowly. If I invoke the right of sanctuary and name you as my defender, he cannot attack without breaking sacred law. It would turn the traditional houses against him. But Jake, this would bind you to me. In Velkari culture, this bond is for life. Jake did not hesitate. Do it. If it saves my crew, I will accept any bond. You do not understand, Zarathiel said softly. This is not just a legal protection. To my people, this bond is sacred. It means I belong to you, that I choose you above all others. Their eyes met. Jake saw something in her expression that made his heart beat faster. This was not just about survival anymore. Something deeper was happening between them. I understand, Jake said quietly. And I accept, Zarathiel nodded. Emma, open a channel to all Velkari ships. I need to broadcast this. When the channel was open, Zarathiel began to speak in her own language. Her voice was strong and clear. Jake could not understand the words, but he heard the power in them. The weight of ancient tradition. Then she switched to English so both her people and Jake's crew could understand. I, Zarathiel, Queen of the Velkari Empire, invoke the ancient right of sanctuary. Captain Jake Morrison of Earth saved my life when all others had abandoned me. He gave his own blood to heal me. He asked for nothing in return. By the old laws, by the sacred traditions of our ancestors, I claim him as my defender. I place myself under his protection. No Velkari may harm him or his ship without answering to me and to our most sacred laws. There was silence on the bridge. Then Krathsek's face appeared on the screen again. He looked furious. You cannot do this. This human is not Velkari. The right of sanctuary only applies to our own people. The law says any warrior who saves royal blood, Zarathiel said. It does not specify that the warrior must be Velkari. And Captain Morrison is more a warrior than you, Krathsek. He fought for my life when you wanted me dead. This is madness, Krathsek snarled. You shame our entire race by choosing a human. I shame those who would kill their queen for wanting peace, Zarathiel shot back. Now leave. You have no authority here. I have claimed sanctuary, and you must honor it or face the judgment of the traditional houses. Krathsek stared at her with pure hatred. But Jake saw something else in his expression too. Fear. The general knew he had been outmaneuvered. If he attacked now, he would lose support from the conservative families who still honored the old ways. This is not over, Krathsek said. You have made a powerful enemy today, human. And you, Zarathiel, you have proven yourself unworthy of the crown. When I return, it will be with the full support of the council. No ancient law will protect you then. The screen went dark. Jake watched the sensor display as the 6 warships slowly turned away. They were leaving. His plan had worked. His crew was safe. But as the tension left the bridge, Jake realized what had just happened. Zarathiel had bound herself to him in front of her entire fleet. She had chosen him over her own people. He turned to her. She was swaying on her feet, exhausted from the confrontation. He caught her before she fell. You should rest, he said. In a moment, she said. She looked up at him and Jake saw tears in her eyes. Thank you, Jake Morrison. For everything. For saving me. For protecting me. For showing me that there is another way. You saved us too, Jake said. That law you invoked. It bought us time. It was more than that, Zarathiel said softly. I meant every word. I choose you, Jake Morrison. Not because I had to. Because I want to. Jake felt his heart race. This alien queen, this powerful warrior was choosing him. It seemed impossible. But as he looked into her eyes, he saw the truth there. She was serious. We need to get you somewhere safe, Jake said. Krathsek will be back. And next time, he will have more support. I know, Zarathiel said. Set course for human space. There is a station called Harmony, yes? Where different species live together. Outpost Harmony, Jake confirmed. How do you know about it? From your memories, she said with a small smile. I want to see this place where peace is possible. Where different people work together. Maybe there, I can learn how to change my empire. Jake gave the order. The Meridian turned toward human territory. Behind them, the Velkari warships grew smaller and smaller on the sensors until they disappeared completely. They had survived. But Jake knew this was only the beginning. Krathsek would not give up, and somewhere out there the entire Velkari Empire was watching to see what their queen would do next. Watching to see if a human and a Velkari could truly stand together. The journey to Harmony would take several days. Days that Jake and Zarathiel would spend learning even more about each other. Days that would change both of them forever. Outpost Harmony appeared on the view screen like a flower made of metal and light. The station orbited a blue gas giant, its arms reaching out in all directions. Ships from a dozen different species docked at its ports. Jake had been here twice before, but seeing it now with Zarathiel beside him made it look different somehow. More important, it is beautiful, Zarathiel said softly. She wore a simple gray robe now instead of her armor. She said it helped her feel less like a warrior and more like a person. So many different ships, different species all in one place. That is the idea, Jake said. Harmony is a place where everyone is welcome, where trade and diplomacy happen peacefully. We have no such places in the Empire, Zarathiel said. Each species stays separate. We rule them, but we do not mix with them. She paused. It is lonely, I think, to always be separate. The Meridian docked and Commander Claire Williams met them at the airlock. She was a tall woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. When she saw Zarathiel, those eyes went very wide. Captain Morrison, she said carefully, when you sent your message ahead, I thought perhaps you were joking, but I see you were not. You actually have the Velkari Queen aboard your ship. Commander Williams, this is Queen Zarathiel, Jake said formally. She is under my protection. Zarathiel bowed her head slightly, a gesture of respect. Commander, I thank you for allowing me on your station. I know my people's reputation makes this difficult. Claire studied her for a long moment. Then she smiled just a little. Any friend of Captain Morrison is welcome here, though I must warn you. Earth's government has been sending messages non-stop since we got word of your arrival. They want to talk to both of you. Over the next few hours, Jake and Zarathiel met with more officials than Jake could count. Admiral Ryan Cooper wanted to know everything about Velkari military strength. Diplomat Megan Torres asked endless questions about Velkari politics and culture. Everyone had an opinion about what should happen next. We should use her as leverage, Cooper said. He was a big man with a deep voice and no patience for diplomacy. The Velkari have been threatening our colonies for years. Now we have their queen. We can negotiate from a position of strength. She is not a hostage, Jake said firmly. She is here because we saved her life and because she wants to be here. That is very noble, Captain Cooper said. But you are thinking too small. This is a historic opportunity. We could end the Velkari threat forever. Zarathiel, who had been sitting quietly, spoke up. Admiral Cooper, I understand your concerns. My empire has done terrible things to many species, including yours. But treating me as a prisoner will not bring peace. It will only create more war. Megan Torres leaned forward. What do you propose instead, Your Majesty? Let me show my people what I have learned here, Zarathiel said. Let me prove that peace is possible, that working together makes us stronger than conquest ever could. Pretty words, Cooper said. But how do we know you mean them? How do we know this is not some trick? Jake stood up. Because I trust her. And that should mean something. The meeting ended without any clear decisions. Jake felt frustrated. Politicians always made everything complicated. But at least they were not treating Zarathiel as a prisoner. That was something. Later that evening, Jake took Zarathiel to the station's observation deck. It was quiet there, with large windows showing the gas giant below and the stars beyond. A few other people were there, but they gave Jake and Zarathiel space. I am sorry about Admiral Cooper, Jake said. He means well, but he does not understand. Do not apologize, Zarathiel said. His fear is reasonable. My empire has given him and his people many reasons to be afraid. She looked out at the stars. I have been thinking about Commander Valesh, about his last words to you. What did he mean when he said you wanted to stop the war? Jake asked. Zarathiel was quiet for a moment. I have ruled for 300 years, Jake. I have seen countless battles, conquered dozens of worlds. And after all that time, I realized something. We were not building an empire. We were building a prison. What do you mean? Jake asked. Every world we conquer becomes another burden, another place we must control, another population that hates us. We spend all our resources keeping our empire together instead of making it better. Our people are strong, but they are not happy. They are proud, but they are not fulfilled. She turned to face him. I tried to change it. I proposed peace treaties with several species. I wanted to turn conquered worlds into partners instead of subjects. But the council refused. They said I was weak. That peace would make us vulnerable. So they tried to kill you, Jake said. Yes. Better to have a queen who would continue the wars than one who would end them. She smiled sadly. But then you found me. And you showed me that my ideas were not foolish. Humans prove that different species can work together. That peace is not weakness. Jake moved closer to her. What will you do now? I do not know, she admitted. Krathzek controls the fleet. Most of the council supports him. Even if I return, they will try to kill me again. Or imprison me, or declare me unfit to rule. Then do not return, Jake said. Stay here. Help us build something new. An alliance between humans and Velkari. Zarathiel looked at him with those deep purple eyes. You would want that? Even after everything my people have done? You are not your people, Jake said. You are yourself. And I have seen who you are, Zara. Through those blood transfusions, through our conversations, through your choices, you are someone who wants to do better. Someone who has the courage to change. She reached out and took his hand. The touch sent warmth through his whole body. Jake Morrison, you see me in a way no one else ever has. Not as a queen, not as a weapon, not as a symbol, just as a person who is tired of being alone. They stood there together, hands joined, looking out at the stars. Other people on the observation deck noticed. A human and a Velkari, standing together peacefully. Some stared. Others whispered. But Jake did not care. Come with me, Jake said suddenly. I want to show you something. He led her through the station to the market district. It was evening and the market was busy. Vendors from different species sold food, art, technology, and things Jake could not even name. The air smelled of spices and flowers and strange cooking. Zarathiel stopped walking and just stared. This is amazing, she whispered. Look at them all. Working together, trading, talking. No one is fighting. This is what peace looks like, Jake said. Not perfect, but real. People from 100 different worlds, all sharing one space. They walked through the market. Zarathiel looked at everything with wonder. She stopped to watch a human child and an alien child playing together. She listened to a musician playing an instrument Jake did not recognize. She even tried some food from a vendor, making a face at the spicy taste but then smiling. In the Empire, this would never be allowed, she said. Different species are kept separate. We believe mixing makes us weak. She looked at Jake. But this does not look weak. This looks like strength of a different kind. They found a quiet corner near a window overlooking the station's central hub. Ships came and went. Lights blinked, people moved through the corridors below. It was beautiful in its way. The beauty of life continuing, of people working and living and dreaming together. Jake, Zarathiel said softly. When I invoked the right of sanctuary, I told you it was a sacred bond. But I did not tell you everything. What did you not tell me? Jake asked. In ancient times, when a royal claimed someone as their defender, it was more than protection. It was a declaration of the deepest bond possible in our culture. It meant choosing someone to stand beside you, to share your life, your future. Jake's heart was beating fast. Zara, what are you saying? She turned to face him fully. Her eyes were bright and he saw no doubt in them. I am saying that when I told Krathzek that I belonged to you, I meant it in every way possible. Not as a prisoner belongs to a captor, not as a subject belongs to a ruler, but as a person belongs to someone they choose above all others. Jake could barely breathe. This alien queen, this powerful being who had lived for centuries and commanded armies, was telling him she chose him. It seemed impossible, and yet looking into her eyes he knew it was true. I am just a ship captain, Jake said, just a human from Earth. You are a queen who has ruled an empire for 300 years. How can you choose me? Zarathiel smiled and it transformed her face. You are not just anything, Jake Morrison. You are the first person in 300 years to see me as more than a symbol. You gave your own blood to save me. You protected me from your own people's suspicion. You showed me that compassion is not weakness. That is worth more than any throne. She stepped closer and Jake felt the warmth of her presence. So yes, Jake Morrison of Earth, I choose you. And I ask, do you choose me? Jake did not need to think. His heart already knew the answer. He reached out and wrapped his arms around her, pulling her close. She was tall, taller than him, but she fit perfectly in his embrace, like two pieces finally finding their match. Yes, he whispered. I choose you, Zara, every part of you. Your strength, your doubts, your dreams for peace. All of it. She wrapped herself in his arms and rested her head against his shoulder. I belong to you, Earthling, she whispered. Not because I have to, but because I want to. And I always will. They stood there together while the station bustled around them. A human and a Velkari, a captain and a queen. Two people who had found something neither expected. Something worth fighting for. But even in that perfect moment, Jake knew their story was far from over. Krathsek would return. Earth's government would have questions. The Velkari Empire would not simply accept their queen's choice. There would be challenges ahead. Dangers. Battles, perhaps. But for now, in this moment, none of that mattered. What mattered was this. Two beings from different worlds choosing each other, building something new from the ruins of old conflicts, proving that love could cross any divide, even the vast distance between species and stars. Tomorrow they would face whatever came. Tonight they had this, and it was enough. 3 weeks passed on Outpost Harmony. 3 weeks of peace, but Jake knew it could not last. He was right. The message came early one morning while he and Zarathiel were having breakfast in his quarters. Captain Morrison, this is Commander Williams. You need to see this, now. They hurried to the command center. When they arrived, Claire showed them a transmission that had been broadcast across all Velkari space. On the screen was General Krathsek, standing before the entire Velkari Council. People of the Empire, Krathsek said. Queen Zarathiel has betrayed us all. She has abandoned her throne, her people, her very heritage. She has chosen a human over her own kind. She is no longer fit to rule. I, General Krathsek, claim the throne in her place. Any who support the former queen will be considered traitors. Zarathiel watched the transmission with a calm expression, but Jake saw her hands shaking slightly. He has done it, she said quietly. He has taken everything. Not everything, Jake said, taking her hand. He does not have you, and he does not have the truth. Zarathiel looked at him. Jake, we need to go back. To Velkar Prime. If I do not challenge him now, he will rule forever, and everything I tried to change will be lost. That is suicide, Claire said. He controls the fleet. You would be killed the moment you arrived. Maybe, Zarathiel said, but maybe not. There are still those in the Empire who remember the old ways, who value honor over power. If I can reach them, if I can show them what I've learned here, there might be a chance. Jake thought quickly. We need allies, not just human ones. Others who have suffered under Velkari rule. Species who would benefit from change. Megan Torres, who had been listening, spoke up. The Dravak system. They have been fighting Velkari expansion for years, and the Talshara worlds. If we could convince them that Zarathiel truly wants peace, they might help. But why would they trust her? Claire asked. She is still Velkari, still their enemy. Because I will be with her, Jake said. We go together, human and Velkari standing side by side, proving that peace is possible. Admiral Cooper entered the room. He had been listening from the doorway. I still do not like this, he said. But I see your point. If we do nothing, Krathsek consolidates power. The Empire continues its expansion. More wars, more death, he sighed. Earth will provide escort ships. But Captain Morrison, this is on you. If this goes wrong, it will mean war. Understood, Jake said. The next 2 weeks were a blur of activity. Jake and Zarathiel traveled to meet with leaders from the Dravak and Talshara. They explained their plan. They showed recordings of Zarathiel's declarations, her choice to seek sanctuary with humans, her words about peace. It was not easy. Many wanted to kill Zarathiel on sight. She had led campaigns against their worlds. But Jake stood beside her at every meeting, speaking of what he had seen in her. The change. The genuine desire for something better. Slowly, skeptically, some began to listen. Then came the message they had been waiting for. It was from Commander Nina Velsha, head of the Royal Guard. She had been on a deep patrol when Zarathiel was poisoned. Now she had learned what happened. Her message was short but powerful. My queen, I am with you. The true Royal Guard stands ready. We are not many, but we are loyal. Krathsek has lied to the people. Show them the truth and they will follow. I will meet you at the edge of Velkar Prime. We will enter together. Zarathiel read the message with tears in her eyes. Nina, she whispered. She was always faithful, always brave. 2 days later, a small fleet gathered at the edge of Velkari space. 3 human ships led by the Meridian, 2 Dravak cruisers, a Talshara frigate, and 12 Velkari ships loyal to Nina Velsha. It was not much compared to Krathsek's hundreds of warships, but it was something. It was hope. They jumped to Velkar Prime. Jake stood on the Meridian's bridge with Zarathiel beside him. Her homeworld appeared on the screen and Jake gasped. It was beautiful. Crystal cities rose from red earth toward purple skies. Two suns cast strange shadows across the landscape. It is beautiful, Jake said. It is home, Zarathiel said softly, and I have missed it more than I knew. Immediately, alarms sounded. Krathzek's fleet was moving to intercept them. 50 ships against their small force, but Zarathiel had a plan. She opened a channel, broadcasting to every ship and every communication device on the planet. People of Velkar, she said in her own language. Then she switched to English so Jake's crew could understand too. I am Queen Zarathiel, I live. Krathzek told you I betrayed our people, that I abandoned you, but I did not abandon you. I searched for a way to save you. Our empire is dying, not from enemies, from within. We have conquered so many worlds that we can barely control them all. Our resources go to maintaining control instead of building prosperity. Our young die in wars that bring us nothing but more wars, she gestured to Jake. This human saved my life when my own council poisoned me. He asked for nothing in return. His people showed me a different way. They build alliances instead of empires. They trade instead of conquer. And they are strong, not despite their compassion but because of it. I stand before you not to reclaim my throne but to offer you a choice. Continue down the path of endless war under Krathzek, or choose a new path. A path where we can be strong and peaceful, where we work with other species instead of ruling them, where our children can grow up knowing security, not just battle. Krathzek's voice broke in. Lies, she has been corrupted by humans. She seeks to make us weak. Then let me prove it, Zarathiel said calmly. I challenge you, Krathzek. Single combat. By the ancient laws, if you win, the throne is yours. If I win, you surrender and face justice for your crimes. There was silence. Jake felt his heart racing. Zarathiel was still recovering. Fighting Krathzek now was dangerous, but he understood why she did it. This was the only way to settle things by Velkari tradition. Finally, Krathzek spoke. Very well, I accept. We meet in the ancient arena. 1 hour. The ships landed and Jake walked beside Zarathiel to the arena. It was a massive structure of crystal and stone, built thousands of years ago. Thousands of Velkari gathered to watch. Jake could feel their eyes on him, the strange human walking with their queen. In the center of the arena, Krathzek waited. He wore heavy armor and carried weapons that looked deadly. Zarathiel wore only light armor. She wanted the people to see her as she was, not hiding, not afraid. Before she entered the arena, she turned to Jake. Whatever happens, know that you changed everything for me. You showed me another way to live, another way to be. Jake wanted to stop her, to fight in her place, but he knew he could not. This was her battle, her moment. Instead, he pulled her close and kissed her forehead. You are the strongest person I know, he said. Go show them why. The battle was brutal. Krathzek was strong and skilled with decades of combat experience. But Zarathiel was faster, more graceful. She had been trained since childhood to fight. And she had something Krathzek did not have, a reason to win beyond just power. They fought for what felt like hours. Finally, Zarathiel saw her opening. Krathzek overextended, confident in his strength. She moved inside his guard and struck. Her blade found the weak point in his armor. Krathzek fell to his knees. The arena went silent. Zarathiel stood over him, her blade at his throat. By tradition, she could kill him now. Everyone expected it. But Jake watched as she made a different choice. She lowered her blade. No, she said. Killing you would only continue the cycle. You will face trial for your crimes. You will answer for what you did. But I will not kill you in cold blood. That is the old way. I choose a new way. The crowd erupted. Some cheered. Some looked confused. Some angry. But Jake saw others looking at Zarathiel with new eyes. She had won by combat as tradition demanded. But she had shown mercy, something no Velkari ruler had done in living memory. Nina Velsha stepped forward with the crown. But Zarathiel stopped her. No, she said. I do not want the old crown. That crown represents absolute rule, conquest without question. I propose something new. Let us create the Velkari Commonwealth, not an empire ruled by one, but a federation where all worlds have a voice. And I invite humanity, the Dravak, the Tal Shara, and any others who wish to join us as equal partners. Together we can build something stronger than any empire, a true alliance of worlds. The arena was silent. Then slowly one person began to applaud. Then another. Soon the entire arena was filled with cheering. Not everyone agreed, Jake knew. Change would be hard, but enough people were ready for something new. That night, Jake and Zarathiel stood on a balcony overlooking the Crystal Capital. The city glowed with lights as people celebrated. The first official meeting of the Commonwealth would happen tomorrow. Leaders from dozens of worlds were already arriving. "Are you scared?" Jake asked. "Terrified," Zarathiel admitted. "This could all fall apart. There will be resistance, probably violence. Definitely challenges I cannot imagine yet." She turned to him and smiled. "But I am not alone anymore. I have you. And I have seen proof that this can work. Outpost Harmony showed me that." Jake took her hand. "What happens now?" "I am just a ship captain. I do not know how to help build a new government." "You do what you do best," Zarathiel said. "You bring people together. You show them that understanding is possible. And you stand beside me as my partner, not behind me, not in front of me, beside me as equals." "I can do that," Jake said. They watched the city together in comfortable silence. Finally, Jake spoke. "You know what humans say? They say that the best love stories are the ones that change the world." Zarathiel laughed softly. "Is that what this is? A love story?" "I think so," Jake said. "An alien queen and a human captain. From different worlds, different cultures, different everything. But somehow we found each other. And together we might actually change the galaxy." Zarathiel wrapped herself in his arms just as she had that night on Outpost Harmony. "I belong to you, Earthling," she whispered. "Today, tomorrow, and for as long as the stars shine." Jake held her close. "And I belong to you, my queen, not because of ancient laws or sacred bonds, but because I choose to." Every single day the future was uncertain. Building the Commonwealth would take years, maybe decades. There would be setbacks and struggles. Some worlds would refuse to join. Some would try to destroy what they were building. But Jake and Zarathiel had proven something important. That even the greatest differences could be bridged. That compassion was strength. That love could cross any divide. In the months that followed, the Human-Valkyrie alliance became the foundation of something larger. More species joined the Commonwealth. Trade routes opened. Cultural exchanges began. Children from different worlds learned together. And slowly, very slowly, the idea of peace became more than just an idea. It became reality. Years later, historians would point to this moment as the turning point. When an alien queen wrapped herself in human arms and chose love over conquest. When a ship captain showed that humanity's true strength was not in weapons, but in the courage to see others as equals. When two people from different worlds proved that understanding and respect could change everything. But for Jake and Zarathiel, standing together under the stars of Velkar Prime, it was simpler than that. It was just the beginning of their story. A story of two people who chose each other against all odds, who built something beautiful from the ruins of old hatreds, who proved that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe is not weapons or armies or ancient empires. Sometimes, it is simply the choice to love.